Ghostrunner is one of the best games with ninjas and a stunningly designed cyberpunk world. This first-person action game transports its players into a vibrant but violent post-apocalyptic future where they'll have to engage in challenging and fast-paced combat. Ghostrunner is a great choice for players who love sci-fi games and are looking for a difficult ninja game that'll test their combat and survival skills. Gamers will have to fight their way through the Dharma Tower, that's the last shelter for humanity, while trying to reach the top of this deadly tower city to confront the merciless Key Master Mara. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is one of the most acclaimed Shinobi games ever made with a stunningly designed dark fantasy world. It's great for players who are looking for difficult Souls-like games set in the 16th century and want to go on an epic adventure filled with blood and violent battles. While Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a challenging game, it's also a deeply atmospheric one that immerses its players in a fascinating story, while letting them explore a gorgeously designed world. Players will get to become powerful ninja warriors who embark on a dangerous journey of revenge while trying to restore their honor. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is a stunningly designed 2D action stealth ninja game that transports its players into a beautiful yet deadly world. Players will step into the shoes of an assassin ninja and will have to learn what it takes to be a true ninja while completing the various challenges. Gamers will get to explore a darkly atmospheric world while fighting their deadly enemies using their special abilities. It's a story-rich game that makes the adventure much more enjoyable, and players get a chance to use a wide array of tools and learn special ninja techniques during their adventures.
Hey, Tim!
When it comes to the most iconic ninja games, Ninja Gaiden is usually one of the first names that spring to most people's minds. Whether they're thinking of the original trilogy that terrorized Northeast test players with their uber-difficult gameplay, or Itagaki's fantastic reboot series from the Xbox and Xbox 360 eras. These challenging yet highly rewarding titles have left their mark on many gamers as well as the industry itself. The original was one of the first console games to include cinematic cutscenes and place players into the shoes of Ryu Hayabusa, who would later go on to appear as a guest character in Koei Tecmo's Dead or Alive series. Over time, the franchise moved away from side-scrolling platforming to a more traditional hack-and-slash formula, but the brutal difficulty levels for which those first few games became known remained largely unchanged, as evidenced by Ninja Gaiden Black. Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Given the recent trend of rebooting classic video game franchises, it's a little surprising that Rikamaru and the rest of the Tenchu crew remain Saturday on the sidelines. Even more so when one considers the improvements in parkour mechanics since the last Tenchu game. The series' most recent installment came more than a decade and a half ago now, yet Tenchu is still fondly remembered by many video game fans. The franchise made its debut in 1998 with Tenchu Stealth Assassins, which did an excellent job of making players feel like they were real ninjas. The game boasted 11 unique sandbox levels and several playable characters, allowing players to climb rooftops, hide behind walls, and perform brutal stealth takedowns. It was one of the best stealth games of the 90s and helped to inspire numerous other ninja games.
Get away! Help me, somebody!
It's just you and me now.
Yeah!
Aragami, which is a kind of underrated game in my opinion. It's not that it really got panned or anything, but it really never got a lot of attention. It was a game that came out on pretty much everything back in 2016. It's an action-adventure stealth game with like a massive amount of style. There's a lot of great abilities in it too. There's like teleportation that you charge by standing in shadows, because he uses shadow energy, or shadow essence. I can't exactly remember what it's called. I just remember that it's a ton of fun, and in all honesty, it's probably one of the best stealth games of the most recent console generation. Frankly, it also came out on Switch in 2019, so if you're looking to play it, probably the easiest way to do it, cause you can take it anywhere. There's also a DLC prequel, which is pretty cool. First-person ninja games are few and far between, but as long as we have the Shadow Warrior games, all will be well. If you can ignore the constant wisecracking from protagonist Luo Wan, then there's a lot to be enjoyed about Shadow Warrior 2's gameplay, which mixes swordplay, solid shooting mechanics, RPG systems and abilities. It's a low bar, sure, but Shadow Warrior 2 might just be the most entertaining FPS ninja game ever made. Each level in Shadow Warrior 2 is fairly open-ended, and some fun traversal mechanics like double jumping and wall climbing make exploration a smooth and fluid experience. Shadow Warrior 2 also explores a huge number of settings, from futuristic cityscapes to quiet shrines in rural Japan. So expect to be slicing demons in one level and robots in the next. If your friends are fans of ninja games, then they can join you in Shadow Warrior 2's co-op mode.
Nioh and Nioh 2, a pair of games that let's just go ahead and say has established a very good Souls-like series that does a lot to give itself its own identity, which is very good. The first one was a bit more specific about its protagonist. The second one let you actually make your own protagonist, and the second one functioned as kind of a prequel for the most part, but some of it actually was post the first game story. The second was obviously bigger in scope, as it tends to be with sequels. In truth, Nioh 2 builds on everything that the original does, and kind of doesn't mess up any of the stuff that it does right. It's exactly what you want out of this kind of a game, and I'm really hoping and looking forward to remake Nioh 3 personally.
Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, which I think is possibly one of the coolest ideas on this list. It's a stealth-based, real-time tactics game set in the Edo period of Japan. It's very much like Desperados if you've ever played that and you have a set of heroes with different skills that you sort of have to apply to different situations. I mean, a really good game, and like I said, probably one of the more innovative ideas on this list. Not that that automatically makes it better than every other game, it's not necessarily that, but it's certainly something unique. And I love Desperados, so I'm sort of partial to the type of gameplay this uses. It just applies it to the sort of samurai idea incredibly well.
車輪が止められてるね。自由になりたがってるよ。
ならば留め具を破壊するべき。
旗4つ。次は
象の場所へ。
Oh yeah! You're no match for me!
It's useless!
Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. Basically, the point is, you create your own ninja, and you play in teams of 4 against other players online. It looks very different from a lot of Naruto games in that the backgrounds are very cartoonish, and really the type of game. It's not action-adventure, it's basically a fighting game. It is not the most advanced fighting game you're ever going to play. However, it is an incredibly fun game, and it is unique in some ways. It vaguely reminds me of if Power Stone were much bigger, like in scale, but not entirely. It's incredibly fun, though. Give it a shot. It's out on pretty much everything.